So what we've got here is one end of the blind that we're going to be attaching, and we had to get some measurements across here. The widest point I found was this cross section, so we measured that up, and then we had to get a number of other measurements regards to the raised sections here, and then we had to transfer all that to our plate that we're going to be making up, which I'll show you in a second. The other end of the blind is a little bit more simpler. All we have is the one hole that we have to put in, and it's got a recess so it can actually fit in and be secured to the bracket that we're making up for the blind. So what we've done here is that we've marked out the actual bracket on one end here. I'll show the other end in a second. So this is the more complicated end where we've got the large raised piece we have to make access for, and the two smaller guide pieces, and then we've got the holes marked out that we're actually going to be securing to the top of the window, and we've also put the marks in to to give a bit of a right shape as opposed to the blind. The other end is a little bit more simpler, as I said. We only need to put the one hole in here, and then we've got the two holes to secure it to the top of the window. So what we'll do now is we'll put the larger holes in for the securing holes for the bracket, and then we'll come back and do these ones next, because these are different sized holes. Alright, the first holes we're going to put in 3mm for the outside hole, so we're just going to put a couple of holes in there. The next hole we're putting in is an 8mm hole, which is just a single hole that's going in this end. So what I've done here is I've just gone through and taken all the burrs off the back from the drilling process, and I've just gone and cleaned out the first hole, which is the 8mm hole, the 8mm hole, and just trying that out, and looks like it fits in there just nicely. Anyway, the next part of the process is that the two outer areas and the centre area here, I'm going to have to file those out and then square them off right with the file. Okay, so what we've done is filed out these recesses here for the attachment, and that's all been brought to size and it all fits now. So our next part is we've got to cut these off of here, and then we've got to bend the two brackets. Right, so we're going to use the bench shear. I'm just lining it up on the back line, and I've got my forward line lined up, and there we go. Alright, so we've got it started on the back one. We'll just bring the shear down and spot on the line. Right, the next part that we're going to do now is just to round off these sharp corners here, so it makes it a little bit user friendly and a bit safer. And we'll just do that, and then I'll just file these down. This is reasonably thick aluminium. So I'll just get the bulk off and then file them down. So we've rounded off the corners and just made it a lot safer and a little bit more cosmetically pleasing. Now what I've done here is I've just lined up the bend line, at the top of the vise. So what we'll do now is we'll just bend this over and get it on a nice 90 degree. I'm just using a rubber mallet. Hopefully will give us a bit more than a 90 degree bend, but we can straighten it out. And I'll do the same with this one. Just line it up. So the line is just proud. Job done.